feminists have ruined dating. Hear me out. So, I think that guys have decided to not be as gentlemanly or chivalrous because a lot of feminists have pulled the I can do anything, I can do whatever a man can, but the point is we can't. Like, of course, I agree with equal pay and stuff like that, but a lot of women are pushing this crap down men's throats, and I think it's really ruining a lot of men and the way they feel about women. Tell me your thoughts in the comments.
You want to know something that most women aren't ready to hear? Modern feminism killed chivalry. Modern feminism has shifted from seeking equality to promoting superiority and resentment towards men, framing men as oppressors rather than partners and equals. With the birth of modern feminism, there came the birth of the girl boss, I don't need a man. Chivalry was never meant to make women look weak. It was made to create a culture of mutual respect where men acted honorably towards women and acknowledged their virtue and grace. Modern feminism, by demanding sameness instead of equality, has blurred those lines. In trying to erase gender differences, it's erased the gestures that celebrate them. The result of this is now we have an entire generation of men who are not willing to honor, pursue, or protect women. We have this entire generation of men who just want to hook up on the first date, who have no respect for women, who don't hold open the door, who don't buy flowers, and it is because of modern feminism. Not only that, but it is also a result of weak men. There's a reason that our grandparents have the cutest love stories where the men pursued the women and they didn't have sex until they were married and they respected and honored each other. And now we are seeing the result of the crash and burn of modern feminism. And unfortunately, it is affecting a lot of women looking for life partners and a lot of men looking for life partners. Feminism is great. The idea of feminism is great to promote equality, but it has evolved into something that is toxic and dangerous to our society.
The strong, independent, boss babe queen crowd can never bring themselves to admit this one. They demand equal footing with men, then complain when a man doesn't perform traditional chivalry like holding doors or pulling out chairs. You can't rewrite the rules and still expect the old perks. Equality apparently comes with optional add-ons.
We're having a conversation about the wage gap. Two things really can't be true at the same time. Women can't say, I want a guy who earns more than me. I want a guy to provide. I want a guy to pay for dates, etc., etc., etc. But also, women should be paid equally. It literally, those two things do not mesh.
I get what you're saying.
They literally cannot mesh.
Are you saying that you're putting a price tag on women who, let's say they are stay-at-home moms and they do that route, that's not worth anything in terms of like a monetary...
When did I say that?
No.
I don't see how that pertains to the conversation at hand, but...
It's totally a wage gap conversation.
How is it...
If a woman is deciding not to work and be a stay-at-home mom, then yeah, you're removing her from making money.
I mean, yeah, if a woman gives up her career, yeah, I guess I acknowledge that a woman would give up her career to be a stay-at-home mom, but I'm more so arguing from the perspective of, you guys are claiming that there's a gender wage gap, and I'm saying, well, there's a whole bunch of reasons for why that is, not due to sexism.
Alright guys, it's time to take off the rose-colored glasses because modern feminism isn't just affecting women, it's destroying men too, and whether intentional or not, it's been used to tear apart everything that made society stable. Whether modern feminism was designed this way or just co-opted by forces that benefit from family breakdown, this movement is affecting women and men in the worst ways possible in today's society, and we need to have a little conversation about it. Think about what modern feminism has done to women. It taught us that needing a man makes us weak, that being feminine is oppressive, that motherhood is a trap, and that career success is the only thing that matters. We've been programmed to compete with men instead of complement them, to see traditional roles as beneath us, and to believe that independence means isolation. But what about men? Modern feminism told them that their natural instincts to lead and protect are toxic masculinity. It shamed them for wanting to be providers and protectors. Men have been emasculated and told that everything masculine about them is problematic. So now many are confused about their role, afraid to approach women, and walking on eggshells constantly. And here's the crazy part. Women have spent decades emasculating men, and now they're complaining that men aren't masculine enough. We told them to be more emotional, more sensitive, more in touch with their feelings, and now we're upset that they're not strong leaders anymore. We shame them for being assertive, called their confidence toxic, and told them their natural instincts were wrong. But then we turn around and complain that there are no real men left. Women created soft, confused men and then act surprised when those men can't lead or protect. You can't have it both ways. The movement that was supposed to liberate women has left us more miserable, lonely, and unfulfilled than ever, and it's left men feeling purposeless and unwanted. We destroyed the nuclear family, the foundation of a stable society, and replaced it with broken homes, single motherhood, and people who can't form lasting relationships. Whether this was intentional or not, when you destroy the family unit, you destroy society's stability, and people become dependent on the system instead of each other. Now we have women who don't know how to be women, and men who don't know how to be men. Everyone's confused, angry, and alone. Modern feminism didn't liberate us, it divided us. And a divided society is easier to control than a united one. The nuclear family wasn't oppression, it was the foundation of everything. And we let them convince us to tear it down.
Somewhere along the way, modern feminism completely lost its original direction. Instead of balance and fairness, it turned into a culture that excuses bad behavior while framing men as villains by default. Accountability quietly exited the chat. Funny how empowerment never includes responsibility.
I want to address this comment because I 100% agree. Women and this feminist movement that we've seen over the past while killed chivalry. It made men stop wanting to do things like this for women because women treat them like shit when they do it and they act like they don't need them. And it's a sad state of society that we're in right now, that we don't think we need each other and that we want to act a fool all the time to be dominant towards one another. There's nothing wrong with a man opening a door for a woman. There's nothing wrong with someone being a gentleman. Be a lady and accept it.
Dear feminists, I have to ask you, why do you find it funny to mock the pain of men? Why do you find it funny to mock their loneliness? Why do you find it entertaining to make jokes about looking the other way while your future son gets beaten, abused by his girlfriend? Haha, that's a joke, right? If you want equality, tell me then why you have a problem with when men make those jokes or those comments, please. Because it's not about equality. It's not equality that you want. What it is you want superiority over men. I'm not here to tell you to stop believing what you believe. I don't think I have the power to do that. But I am challenging you to acknowledge your belief system, which doesn't line up with what you say feminism really is about. Anyway, follow me if you want to find your way out of the feminism matrix, one TikTok at a time.
Deep down, many feminist women know they helped create the mess they now complain about. The frustration, loneliness, and dissatisfaction didn't appear out of nowhere. They're side effects no one wants to acknowledge. Denial is a powerful coping mechanism.
I think that men are valuable in the sense that they provide. That's about it.
Do you hate men?
Kind of, yeah. I would say in my world with men, you're guilty until proven innocent.
Do you have any brothers?
I do have a brother. I have an older brother, yeah.
Do you hate him?
No.
Is his only worth to provide for you?
No, he doesn't provide for me. He's my brother. I love him.
So he has worth outside of providing for you?
Yeah, he's my brother. I love him.
What about your father? Same thing?
He's my father.
So just every other man except your immediate family, they're not valuable unless they're providing for you?
They're not valuable until they prove to me that they're valuable.
By providing for you?
Sure, it could be providing for me, yeah.
What are the other ways they could prove it?
No, actually, I think it's just providing. You're right.
My hot take is that feminism is the biggest joke. And before you come at me, just hear me out. Before feminism, families were united. Men and women were united. They understood each other. They took care of each other. They knew how each other worked. They knew what the other person needed. And families were actually built upon loyalty, trust, and connection. Nowadays, women are told you can be independent. You don't need to have a family. You don't need a man. And the result is women are miserable because they are living a life that is not true to them. That is not something they were naturally born to do. And men are miserable because they have have to choose between being single or being with a woman who never appreciates them, never respects them, and doesn't love them in the way that they need. The fact that we think feminism actually helped our society, yes, maybe it helped some women who were being abused or who were actually in devastating relationships, but for the most part, it caused a lot more destruction than it did good to our society in general. You can try and prove me wrong, but look at the statistics.
Modern women rarely admit how unhappy the hyper-independent lifestyle actually feels. Doing everything alone sounds empowering until it becomes exhausting and isolating. Independence hits different when there's no one to lean on. Turns out, I don't need anyone, gets lonely fast.
Judging by the comments in this video, this is clearly an unpopular opinion, but I believe chivalry and equality can coexist, and I'm going to explain how. Based on some very brief research, and feel free to correct me, but in about 11th or 12th century AD, chivalry was first adopted to basically hold knights to a certain standard. If they wanted to be respected and honored, they had to fit this certain standard. So originally, this had nothing to do with gender. Now here's where gender comes into play. To be a very well-respected knight, oftentimes in romantic literature from that time period, the most respected knights had respect for women. And those with the most respect for women often won the love of the woman. Just a side note, that's the original roots of chivalry. Some people argue that the more modern day idea of it comes from 19th century Europe. Now, call me old-fashioned, call me outdated, but I believe that there's some things that should never die, and chivalry is one of those things. So equality for me basically means that I believe my life is just as valuable to that of a man's. But on the other hand, I believe that I am entirely different than a man. I think nowadays a lot of women are quick to look at chivalry as painting them to be weak. They look at a man opening a door for them as almost making them look incapable. And that's not really what chivalry is. Chivalry is not this condescending, demeaning thing. It's simply respect. So this is what gets me so angry, is that women look at it as this horrible thing because they're painted as weak. But originally, in the 19th century, chivalry was looked at as women are so special and should be treated with extra respect. Disagree with me all you want, but there is no denying that in most cases, men are physically stronger than women. And if we completely get rid of chivalry, the effects of that will be absolutely lethal. At the end of the day, there are certain things that I can provide that a man can't, and vice versa. Chivalry is in equality. Chivalry is not dead, and chivalry is something that should never die. At the end of the day, it's a mutual respect that should honestly go both ways.
And I quote from Mary Anne Franks, "Society would be better off as a whole if more women were willing to engage in justified violence against men." She continued, "To that end, women's justified violence against men should be encouraged, protected, and publicized." So this is proof that feminism since the beginning hasn't even been about rights, it's always been about revenge. When you openly call for the justification of public violence against half of the population, that's really not about equality, so don't let feminists tell you it's about equality. It never has been.
Feminism thrives on double standards. Violence is unacceptable when men do it, but often excused or minimized when women do. That contradiction exposes that the movement drifted from equality towards selective superiority. Rules for thee, not for me.
Feminism has crept into our churches, into our temples, and into our synagogues. It has become a blight and a plague that has totally corrupted all of our religions, but especially Christianity. What happened with the rise of feminism is there was too many guys asleep at the wheel. They weren't standing up to it. They weren't calling out the bullshit. They allowed this thing to fester into the monster that it would become and is today. When men left for wars, when they departed for World War I, World War II, even Vietnam, the church became feminized because men were gone and it catered towards women. And women, let's be honest, women and children are the ones that turn up at churches and bring men with them. The preaching became feminized, and we created this Jesus that was basically harmless, tolerated everything, stood up for nothing, and then it trickled down through the whole church culture. When's the last time you went to church and had any kind of sermon or lesson on masculinity at all? It doesn't even address it. The church is now delivering a watered-down, insipid gospel that basically neuters men into submission. We as men have to stand up. We got to start speaking up. We got to reclaim the pulpits. And it's not that masculinity should dominate the feminine at church, but there should be a balance, like in all things. And we should see the church teaching men to be strong, teaching men to be courageous, teaching men to call out bullshit and rise up and speak up and act up. Because that's what Jesus was. Jesus was the most masculine man that ever walked the earth. And the greatest tragedy of modern day Christianity is the emasculation of Jesus into a harmless doormat.
The ideology has seeped into nearly every institution and culture, and many people see it as a driving force behind social breakdown. When division replaces cooperation, everyone loses. Breaking society speedrun any percent.
Need anybody and feminism and not. I don't believe in this shit at all. In fact, I think feminism fucked up our society completely. And the idea of being inherently completely independent and not having to get married and have kids and not having the male and female dynamics in the home where the man is a provider and a breadwinner and the woman is a nurturer. I don't believe in people who think that that's not true. I think women are nurturers. Yes, they should go to work and have their own life and be independent, but to a certain extent, they should also be ready to take on the role of being a mother and a wife and a nurturer, just like a man should be ready to take a role of being a provider and a breadwinner and a father and a husband. I believe totally on this. We call it old school, traditional way of thinking. I think I call it the normal way of thinking. It's just feminism fucked it up a little bit and made us really excited about this whole like freedom and liberation and everyone's equal. We are all equal in more sentimental things, but in societal things, we are not equal. I think everyone plays their role.
Despite all the slogans, women still rely heavily on men in infrastructure, protection, stability, and family structure. Removing the value of men from the household didn't create freedom, it created strain. Turns out, optional doesn't mean replaceable.
Men didn't vanish, they just stopped caring. And that's what's shaking the system. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for next video.